is RTV6 News at 7, working for you.
Now at 7, some places will see the flip side of those summer-like temperatures. We're watching the skies across central Indiana tonight for possible storms. Good evening, I'm Rafael Sanchez. We begin at 7 right here in the Storm Team 6 Tracking Center with meteorologist Cal Mounts as the change is about to begin. Cal?
Yeah, summer returned for a lot of us today, but we've got some showers and storms, part of that transition as well. Here's a look at Storm Team 6 radar. Things starting to quiet down, but you can really see over the last few hours where that focus has been. And let's show you another way here, because one of the bigger impacts has been from some locally heavy rainfall from portions of Benton County through areas near Monticello and even around Peru here in Miami County. We've had 1 inch to 2 inches of rainfall, so that coming down in a short period of time. Still could have some standing water out there. You want to make sure that you avoid that. At this point, though, we've got some showers around Marion, Indiana, and also into Winchester. We get a break in the activity. Not necessarily are we done with rain chances, though. As we go through the overnight, we'll start to see another band of some showers and storms sinking in from the north. This is 2 o'clock in the morning, and then you'll see that really doesn't make it too far to the south, so the best rain chances will remain north of Interstate 70 here as we go into our Saturday morning. Temperature-wise, though, yeah, it is a hot one in much of central Indiana. 85 right now in Indy after making it to 90 this afternoon. It's 66, though. Rain, cool air in Kokomo. We'll take a look at your weekend in just a few minutes.
Carl, thank you. We'll see you in a few moments. Stop trains continue to cause major disruptions in Delaware County in and around Muncie. Tonight, we have a response from the company that operates those trains. First responders say the stop trains, they cause delays getting to emergencies. School bus drivers say students are forced to arrive late to class. In some cases, the trains have blocked some streets for up to 4 hours. One city bus driver says they're facing a driver shortage because potential drivers don't want to deal with all of the delays. But at the same time, there has been an increase in passengers. And that includes people like Myra Robinson, who's blind and uses the bus every day to get to her appointments.
The worst one is being late for a doctor, because they will either not see you or they will charge you.
Mayor Dennis Tyler says a Supreme Court ruling made just last year no longer allows cities to fine or ticket railroad companies for blocking a street for more than 10 minutes. Norfolk Southern Corporation officials finally responded this week to RTV6, saying that operational situations might require a train to stop or slow temporarily blocking a crossing. They apologize for the inconvenience, and they say they're working to review local operations there in Muncie. We'll stay on top of this story and see what they come up with in the days to come. New developments tonight. The parents accused of abandoning their adopted daughter in West Lafayette appeared in court today and entered not guilty pleas. This is video of Michael Barnett at the courthouse today in Tippecanoe County. He and his former wife, Christine Barnett, they face neglect charges following a 5-year investigation that accuses them of leaving behind an adopted girl from the Ukraine in 2013 when the couple moved to Canada. Investigators say they had also changed her age from 8 to 22 years old before renting her an apartment in Lafayette and leaving her behind. Michael Barnett's lawyer says there is more to this case than meets the eye.
It's clear in our mind that they are in fact the victims of a fraud or ruse perpetrated upon them back when they were first requested to adopt this individual that was alleged to have been a child when in fact she was not. We have no indication that this individual has ever been honest about what her true age is.
We were unable to speak to Christine Barnett today, but her defense is also based around the idea that the girl was not truly the age she said she was. A new effort is now underway to help victims of violent crimes here in Indiana. The Indiana Coalition for Crime Victims' Rights is a group of advocates, attorneys, social workers, and survivors. Some counties have victim advocates that work alongside police and prosecutors, but many parts of our state do not have victim advocates. Another challenge is that victims may not be given the right information as they follow their perpetrator's case through the criminal justice system.
And the problem is when victims ask if they should have an attorney represent them, they're often told that they don't need an attorney, that the prosecutor will represent them. That's not accurate and not factual, and we're trying to educate the community that, yes, you do need an attorney, and hopefully we can provide you one free of charge.
The coalition is working on a way to get crime victims a card with their rights, like the right to confer with the prosecutor, the right to be notified of hearings, and the right to give a victim impact statement. They will focus on educating anyone and everyone who touches a case on how they can better help victims. 16 states currently have victim rights attorneys. This group wants Indiana to be the 17th state to do so. New developments today. The Justice Department is siding with the Archdiocese of Indianapolis in that civil lawsuit brought by a former Cathedral High School teacher. Joshua Payne Elliott says he was wrongfully terminated by the Archdiocese because he was in a same-sex marriage. In a statement of interest filed today, the Justice Department says the court must dismiss the lawsuit because the First Amendment rights protects the right of the Archdiocese to freely exercise their faith. The future of the former GM stamping plant on the southwest side of Indianapolis is now back in limbo. That's because the developer has scrapped a plan to turn it into a complex known as Waterside. It was to feature apartments, restaurants, and retail shops. Well, you see, Ambrose Property Group says it's not going forward with those plans and will be selling Waterside. And that property group says it's part of a larger national strategy to get rid of its mixed use and office projects similar to what Waterside would have become. In hiring Hoosiers tonight, the Indiana State Capitol Police section is now accepting applications. Online applications are due by 11:59 p.m. on Monday, October the 21st. The next academy for the Capitol Police recruits begins on January the 13th. And here are some basic requirements that you need to know if you want to become a Capitol Police officer. You must be a U.S. citizen. You must be at least 21 years of age by the time of your appointment, which is April the 24th of next year. You must meet a minimum vision standard of 20/50 in each eye. You must possess a valid driver's license, and you must be a high school graduate. The starting salary for a Capitol Police officer is just under $45,000 a year. Telling her side of the story, the former police officer accused of murder takes the stand, now in her own defense. The dramatic moments coming up on the news at 7. Plus, DoorDash customers check your bank statements. The company now confirming a data breach that's impacting millions. The details when the news at 7 continues right here on RTV6.
We share it with you on Good Morning Indiana.
This is RTV6 News at 7, working for you.
The former Dallas police officer accused of killing an unarmed man inside his apartment took the stand in her own defense today. Amber Geyer testified that she thought she was in her own apartment when she fired a weapon in what she believed was self-defense. ABC's Trevor Ault has the latest on this trial.
Nothing but the truth, so help you God.
Friday, a trembling Amber Geiger taking the stand in her own defense. The former Dallas police officer at times overwhelmed with emotion during her testimony.
I never wanted to take an innocent person's life. And I am so sorry.
Geiger's accused of killing a neighbor inside his apartment last year. Her defense attorneys arguing the shooting happened after she'd entered an unlocked door on the wrong floor of her apartment complex following a 14-hour work shift. Today, Geiger reenacting the moment she pulled the trigger.
Let me see your hands. Let me see your hands.
Hey, hey, hey.
And that's at that point whenever I shot both.
Geiger maintains she thought the victim, 26-year-old Botham Jean, was an intruder in her apartment, and today testified she thought he was going to kill her. Jean was reportedly unarmed and eating ice cream inside his apartment when Geiger entered. Today, Geiger said she tried performing a little CPR after she'd shot Jean, but during cross-examination admitted she frequently stopped to figure out where she was and also to text her partner with whom she was having an affair. The prosecutors questioning why Geiger didn't take more thorough steps to provide first aid after she'd realized she'd made a mistake.
Is there a reason why you didn't use this stuff right here, which is designed to control traumatic bleeding?
It never crossed my mind.
It didn't even cross your mind?
No, sir.
Amber Geiger is charged with murder. If she's convicted, she faces 5 to 99 years in prison. Trevor Ault, ABC News, New York.
The White House now admits the transcript of President Trump's conversation with Ukraine's president was stored in a highly classified system. Insiders say that lends more credibility to a whistleblower complaint that the July 25th transcript was intentionally kept out of wider circulation. During the conversation, President Trump spoke to Ukraine's leader, asking for a favor by looking into former Vice President Joe Biden and his son. White House officials say the document was already classified, so it did nothing wrong by moving it to another system. Highly secure systems are typically used to store documents containing things like military plans and intelligence secrets. Some say using one to store a transcript suggests officials sought to conceal its contents. A controversial question on a middle school test has a school district now questioning one of its teachers. A Palm Beach, Florida student showed their dad a quiz that called President Trump an idiot. The dad was furious and tweeted a photo of that quiz. It's a multiple choice question that reads, 45th President, 2017, Republican, real estate businessman, idiot, with the answer being Donald Trump.
I don't believe opinions belong in the classrooms, whether it's religion, politics, ethnic background, or any of those things.
The principal sent a letter home to parents apologizing for what happened, and that teacher has been reassigned, and the quiz has been taken down from the website students use to take tests. Now at 7, DoorDash is serving up some frustrating news tonight. Nearly 5 million people could be affected by a recent data breach that includes customers' driver's licenses and their restaurant partners. DoorDash says this actually happened back in May, and some stored addresses, store numbers, and email addresses. In a few cases, the person was able to see bank account information and license numbers. DoorDash is now sending emails to anyone who might be affected. So, paper or plastic? The next time you make a cup of tea, scientists say you may want to pick a paper tea bag or just go loose leaf. A new study put 4 different plastic tea bags to the test. Researchers removed the tea from the bag before putting it in that boiling water. Now, they found that one bag released billions of so-called microplastic particles into the cup. Apparently, we already eat quite a bit of plastic as it is, enough to equal the weight of a credit card every week. At this point, scientists are not sure how many of these particles could affect your health because there are not enough studies on this issue. Now is the time to start tracking prices if you plan to travel anytime around the holidays. Travel experts say airfares will start rising soon for Thanksgiving and Christmas time. They recommend you book trips for either the holiday before the end of October. You can use price watching software like Google Flights to help you out. Experts say prices could change up to 100 times between now and the holidays, but eventually they will only be going up on those prices. So buyer beware. The Vortex roller coaster at Kings Island will soon make its last run. The amusement park says it will shut down the popular ride for good this fall. Vortex has thrilled visitors for the past 33 seasons. Kings Island says although the coaster is still a crowd pleaser, it has reached the end of its service life. Officials say that the most roller coasters have a lifespan of about 33 years. This ride closes on October the 27th, which just happens to be the last day of the park's 2019 fall season. So make sure and enjoy the Vortex. Illnesses and in some cases death have been linked to vaping. With the release of some new alarming numbers, we're getting a snapshot of which groups are being most affected. That's coming up. But first, let's check your forecast with Kyle Bounce.
Yeah, and our warm-up is just getting started here in central Indiana. We're going to talk about when temperatures get back into the 90s and when we could set a couple of temperature records. You're watching RTV6 News at 7.
That's why the milk is so fresh at Meijer.
Now to the latest on the vaping crisis. The CDC is sharing more information today about hundreds of injuries possibly linked to vaping across 46 states, including Indiana. Now more from ABC's Marcy Gonzalez.
The CDC now shining more light on the alarming surge in vaping-related lung injuries, saying of the 805 confirmed and probable cases, 77% of patients reported using vaping products containing THC, though health officials explain they cannot connect these illnesses to any particular compound or product. The latest figures also highlight that a disproportionate number of men and young people are impacted, with around 2/3 of patients between 18 and 34 years old. Others are even younger.
He told me he was still vaping and that he had been using the CBD oils as well as the THC.
Michael Kaiser's mother believes because of that, the 16-year-old went from a healthy high school wrestler to a patient in this Nebraska ICU, where he now needs a machine to breathe.
No parent in the world should experience what I'm experiencing with my son.
E-cigarettes are now the most frequently used tobacco product among adolescents. Some studies finding 3.6 million middle and high school students were e-cigarette users in 2018. Now Washington joins a growing list of states taking action. Governor Jay Inslee calling for an emergency ban on all flavored vaping products.
I am confident this executive order will save lives. I am confident it will save children from a lifetime of nicotine addiction.
And across the country, there have been at least 13 confirmed deaths linked to vaping. The most recent announced Thursday in Oregon, where the governor joined health officials in urging people who vape to stop. Marcy Gonzalez, ABC News, Los Angeles.
New York man captured his own brush with death on camera. A crash left him pinned in his car under a truck on the highway. He says he was awake and alert through the entire ordeal.
I remember everything. I remember hearing someone scream, "Don't go under the truck," and these two gentlemen didn't care. They came under the truck to come get me.
The rescuers, they worked quickly to get the man out, using the jaws of life to cut him loose. But with nothing to do but wait, he pulled out his phone and recorded the rescue. He managed to walk away with only minor injuries, leaving responders stunned. Luckily, that man is okay.
Well, this scene certainly looks like summer, a little bit of hazy sunshine, but you notice that sun is pretty close to the horizon. We're only about 13 minutes away here from our sun setting now as those daylight hours continue to get a little bit shorter. Well, we've got a lot of sunshine in the downtown area, more cloud cover and some rain to the north, but most of that has moved out for now. We still have a marginal risk, though, of some strong storms later tonight from around Petersburg to Kokomo and areas to the northwest. Those could have some gusty winds and possibly a little bit of hail with them after 2 o'clock in the morning, but I would say that is a very isolated threat here. You can see the temperature divide where we've had the rain earlier in the day, upper 60s in Tipton, Lafayette, and Peru, 85 in downtown, 86 in Columbus and Bedford at 87 degrees. We made it to 90 today in Indianapolis, and temperatures tonight a whole lot warmer than where we were this morning. We will spend most of the overnight hours in the 70s here, upper 60s in Danville tomorrow morning, 70 degrees in Greenwood. So a very mild start to the day. Same for you in Muncie and Rushville in the upper 60s as well. As we take an hour-by-hour look at your Saturday forecast, we'll have a little more cloud cover than what we've had today, but temperatures are still going to warm here. We're at 80 degrees at noon, middle to upper 80s for that afternoon high tomorrow, but we are going to have a temperature divide because once again, chance for a shower or thunderstorm mainly north of Interstate 70. This is 8:30 Saturday morning. You can see around Kokomo, also into Delphi. Could see a few of those isolated showers, but if you do see some, it's not going to last very long here. We'll have partly sunny skies for much of the day and a dry Saturday evening with temperatures that get into the middle 80s on Saturday, a little warmer on Sunday at 87, partly sunny, and again, an isolated chance for a passing shower or storm. That rain chance only 20% both days. It's still going to be on the warm and muggy side, though, with a little more humidity, and the heat will continue to build into early next week. We are actually getting back into the 90s again. 91 on Monday and Tuesday. That would be records for the day and also tie the hottest temperature for October that we've ever recorded in Indianapolis. We'll be close to another record there on Wednesday at 88. 7-day planning forecast as we put it all together, that summer heat coming with a fairly dry weather pattern for us, and then we'll see a few shower and storm chances as we get into our Thursday. That brings in a feel of fall. Highs about 20 degrees cooler by Friday at 70.
So tomorrow we are walking in the Circle City Classic Parade. It starts at 10 o'clock in downtown Indianapolis. Dry or wet?
No, I think we're going to be dry in downtown. Any rain chances to the north.
Be right back. Like that.
For limited time only at Ashley Home Store.
Tomorrow, IndyCar driver Robert Wickens will check a couple of huge goals off his list a little more than a year after that racing accident at the Pocono Raceway that left him with a spinal cord injury. Tomorrow, Wickens will marry his fiancée, Carly Woods. Now, since February of this year, Wickens has made it known that he wants to dance at his wedding. So take a look at this Wickens tweet from September the 2nd, in which he said, "It's amazing what you can learn when you goof off. Only 26 days to go." Of course, tomorrow is the big day. He'll marry Carly Woods and hopefully get that big dance in. We wish them all the very best.
Congratulations to them. And over the next 7 days of our forecast, a lot of that is going to feel like summer with highs around 90 degrees, but it cools down, feeling a little bit better Thursday and Friday, highs in the 70s.
Thanks for making RTV6 your choice for news. Mark and Amanda tonight on the news at 11. Have a great weekend. Good night.